Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on this episode of the Healthy Brain Podcast. Today is part 3 of brain management, and I wanted to go into a principle called the Motivational Triad. Before we get into it, though, I want to invite you that if you're ready to reach your health and life goals, then come on over, sign up for a discovery coaching call with me. It's free and it's transformative. You'll find so much benefit just talking with me, where I'll listen to what are your goals, what is getting in the way, what are the obstacles, and how coaching can help you achieve those goals. I have had so many goals in my life, and until I started applying the coaching tools, which I'll talk about with you on this discovery coaching call, it was only then that I finally started achieving these transformative goals. And the changes that I've seen in my life have been phenomenal. So find the discovery coaching call. The link is in the bio. All right. So after you listen to this, go on over to I guess it would be the link is in the show notes here in the podcast, or link below if you're watching it on YouTube in the description. You can find it there. Okay, so let's get started. Here we go. I just got my hair cut, and I went with the bangs, but the bangs aren't working today, so I pushed them off to the side. If you're on YouTube, you can probably see, but I don't know if I'm a fan. I have curly hair, and I'm gonna style it a different way and see what happens. All right, but that aside, now when we're setting goals in health and life and business, the easy part is setting the goals. You probably know what you want to achieve, but achieving the goals, that is where the work has to happen. Actually doing the actions, because we can all think of these amazing things we want to achieve in our life, but taking action towards those goals, that's when we start talking ourselves out of doing the actions that we know we need to do or should do to achieve the goals. We either think it will take too much time or it will take too much energy. We have lots of excuses, lots of obstacles. I know I've been there, and I still do experience them. So what I'm sharing with you is not that, oh, all of these excuses and obstacles won't happen. They do happen, but now I have tools, and I share them with my clients, my coaching clients, and I work with them on managing all of these obstacles that come up. Our brain is telling us something when we're trying to do something new and different instead of our daily old humdrum, like day in upon day out, same thing. We get the same results or no results at all. Our brain likes us to just stay sort of in that, don't rock the boat. And what I'm going to share with you is a principle that explains how the brain reacts and how you can use it to help you work towards your goals. This principle will actually make working on your goals easier. Yes, easier. Not completely like without effort, but easier. Once you understand this principle, then you can use this principle and apply it to how you approach achieving the goal. Motivational Triad, that is what the principle is called. Now, when I did some digging, I did see that it was created by Dr. Lyle and Dr. Goldhammer. I believe they have a book. I haven't read it. I just know that we use this motivational triad in coaching. This principle, it consists, this is what the principle is. The brain wants to avoid pain, seek pleasure, conserve energy. Those three things, triad, three things. That's why it's called the triad. And motivational triad means the brain is motivated by avoiding pain. It's motivated by seeking pleasure. It's motivated by conserving energy. So I want to break down each of these three areas and break it down so we can better understand how to use them to manage your brain and achieve your goals. And you can input any goal that you want. If it's a life goal, business goal, health goal, relationship goal, financial goal, anything can be put into the line there of whatever type of goal. And really take a look at where maybe one of these or maybe all of them are happening when you are trying to achieve your goal. All right, so let's start off with the first one. The brain wants to avoid pain. Your brain does not want you to feel uncomfortable. Your brain wants to protect you. Your brain is wired to protect you from danger. When you experience stress, fear, overwhelm, danger, something uncomfortable, your brain goes into alert mode. It's actually in the amygdala, in your primitive or limbic brain. You may hear either or of those terms. The amygdala is activated. Have you noticed that when you start to work towards a goal and it starts to get uncomfortable, your brain starts thinking of all of the reasons not to do the action? Oh, there's not enough time. It's too late in the day. It will be too difficult. It's too confusing. I'm too overwhelmed. All of the excuses. This is just your brain doing its job. So nothing has gone wrong. So that's the first thing, is that be aware that that's okay. It's normal. Don't think that it's you. Oh, why can't I do this? Why do I always make these excuses? It's just your brain doing its thing. Now, the cool thing is, when you know that your brain does this, you can use this awareness to override the impulse and to avoid the pain. Okay, so you can override this impulse that your brain is saying, well, don't do it because it's going to be painful. You can just override it. And I know I'm saying you can just, well, that's what this, often I work with my coaching clients. This is what we work on: managing their brains to take action, managing the discomfort and take action instead. So instead, you can choose to take action because you know that it's just your brain trying to avoid the pain. So having that awareness, that's what I mean, is if you have this awareness that your brain is innately trying to avoid pain, of course it's going to feel, and you're going to feel uncomfortable doing something new. We want to have it where it's all so nice when we're working towards a goal, and we want it to look like that Instagram reel that we see, that, they make it look so fun and so easy. Well, there's work in transformation. There's work, but the reward on the other side is worth it, because when you can start managing your brain in any area of your life, then you can break free from a lot of the limitations that you've set on yourself. Let's look at the second area of this motivational triad. So it's seeking pleasure. Our brain is looking for its next dopamine hit. When you're trying to do actions towards your goal, more than likely it is not creating a dopamine rise. Dopamine is a hormone and a neurotransmitter that's released when we do actions that we enjoy, like scrolling social media, eating that brownie. Imagine this, like this scenario. Maybe this has happened to you. I know it's happened to me in the past, and even nowadays, I do have to be aware of it. Imagine this: you make a plan to have a nutritious, healthy meal. At the end of the day, though, you're feeling really stressed out because you've had such a long day at work. It's been real stressful, lots of meetings, maybe a coworker, maybe the boss, whatever it is. and you've been taking kids to activities, you just feel this pressure of stress and you just want to release a little bit of the stress, a little bit of it. And that brownie or that glass of wine looks so good. And you know that once you take that first bite, you're just going to feel that, oh, but you'll probably end up drinking the whole glass or two. Maybe you have a goal of not drinking during the week, just on the weekend, really cutting down on your alcohol, or maybe you have a goal of minimizing sugar. And that brownie though, once you get that dopamine hit, it's like, well, I might as well eat it. So what happens then, because even though you've made this plan of having a nutritious, healthy meal, your body has felt that pressure, that stress throughout the day by the end of the day, or even in the middle of the afternoon, and it's looking for pleasure. Your brain is looking for just a little bit of a release. And because your brain is not managed, and you're not just saying your brain, my brain at times, it's looking for the pleasure, the quick dopamine hit. You reach for the brownie or the glass of wine instead of the healthy meal, or the buying like sometimes people will buy too much. They'll go to the store or online. Possibly that happens. So once we understand why our brain is doing this, then we can apply this principle. If one of my clients in that scenario was experiencing this, and you know what? I was experiencing this. So just input me into this. I would work all day, feel a lot of stress at the end of the day. So what I would recommend, and what I did for myself and I would recommend to my clients, is that we would work on, and this is what I did, decreasing the stress and overwhelm that I experienced during the day. Because I was managing my mind and my brain during the day, I wasn't taking everything so personal. I was managing how I responded to conflicts. And I actually created mini rewards, non-food related, non-purchasing related rewards that resulted in a mini dopamine hit. So there were two things that I really did and I would recommend for my clients, is I would decrease the stress during the day. That's number one. I would, through a variety of different actions and routines. And second, I would create, instead of reaching for that brownie, my mini reward could be, for me, it was like, go for a walk after dinner, just one of the nutrition plans that I follow, they have a quote, dinner and done. When I've had my dinner and done, just go out for a walk. And that's worked really well for me. So my mini reward for that mini dopamine hit is going for a walk. And I listen to a fiction book. What am I listening to right now? It's Covet. It's in the, it's about not dragons, no dragons, vampires, witches, werewolves. It's a fiction. But I just enjoy that in the evening, going for a walk. And that's my little reward. Okay. So when I understood, and my coaching clients, and for you guys, I really want you to think about, how is it when you start to realize, oh, this is what's happening. My brain is either avoiding pain or it's seeking pleasure. It has so much stress, or I'm just feeling this overwhelm. I'm just looking for that quick fix, that dopamine hit. Can you replace that dopamine hit with something healthier and less destructive? And on the flip side, can you also manage your stress and manage your mindset? All right, the third area of this motivational triad is conserve energy. This one really is very important, and I think it's a little overlooked. I think we'll find people will start talking about it a little bit more. I often call this energy cognitive endurance and cognitive reserve. And what happens is our brain can truly experience cognitive fatigue. Our brain usually uses around 20% of our calories throughout the day to function, or even more. So if you have even a stressful day or demanding day, you're using more than 20% because that's just the baseline. You're using a lot of energy. Your brain uses glucose usually, except if it's glucose levels are lower, and then there could be ketones that the brain will use, but I'm not going to get into that. Our brain is trying to conserve energy throughout the day, so it will not want us to work on a challenging task, especially at the end of the day. I had an example of this just today. I was starting to write this podcast in the afternoon after seeing clients and patients through the day. And I sat down and I thought, okay, I'll just start writing. As soon as I wrote like 3 lines, I got this overwhelming fatigue, this cognitive fatigue. Well, I know myself that instead of pushing forward, sometimes I do, I'll just take a little mini break. What I did take a longer break, maybe 15 minutes, and I did listen to a relaxing meditation, which had the music. To me, that really helps me to recharge, just that 10 to 15 minutes. And when I share this with my clients, I'll actually, if they feel like they're feeling really overwhelmed and fatigued, I'll suggest to them, just determine, is it 5 to 10 minutes? And you'll be amazed at how much fresher you feel by just closing your eyes. So some different ways that you can manage this fatigue, cognitive fatigue, is you could take a quick walk outside, you could do a short meditation, you could read a book, you could listen to music, or you could just close your eyes for a few minutes. Thinking of also a task, if it's a really challenging task, do it earlier in the day. Eat that frog is, I can't remember the type of book it is. It's Brian something, and it's called Eat That Frog. That's the book. Brian, you're probably saying it's this. I can't remember his name, and I don't want to just say any name, but it's called Eat the Frog. It basically is do the hardest task first, because on the premise that we experience decision fatigue and cognitive fatigue by the end of the day. So that's why it's so much harder to stick with our plan, because our brain is so tired. A way to manage this and conserve energy is to I call them brain breaks. Brain breaks throughout the day, very important. You'll be surprised that when you do take brain breaks, you'll have more energy. The other thing is, try not to multitask, because I've noticed if I keep tabs open, I'll be tempted on the computer, I'll be tempted to open oh, let's check this email, let's check that email. So managing that, so it's not so tempting to look at the other tab while I'm working, and shifting, because it's called task shifting. By managing that, I can conserve my energy. So just look at what is draining your energy, your brain energy. And when you can manage that, then you'll have more energy to put towards your actions towards your goals. This conserving energy and this whole idea of brain energy is huge. And my other job is working as a speech pathologist with cognitive rehab. So I'll work with people on developing or creating more cognitive endurance, because they have cognitive fatigue after brain injury, after just changes, even aging. So we look at how can we conserve this brain energy so they don't feel this cognitive fatigue, but even just so they are aware of when it's happening, because when we have fatigue, we don't want to do anything. We may be a little bit more irritated. We may act a way we don't want to act. So conserving energy and just being aware of our brain energy is crucial. All right, everybody, that is the motivational triad. I would recommend, like I said at the beginning, that you look at an area of your life where you are stuck and apply this motivational triad. Let me know what you find out. I'd love to know if you've used any of the principles. And again, if you're ready to reach your health and life goals, then I invite you to sign up for a free discovery coaching call with me. It is a fantastic way just to start thinking about how you can achieve these amazing goals that you've set. Or maybe even if you don't know what you want to achieve in your life, I help people gain clarity and then they start going towards their goals. All right, everybody, have a great week, and I will see you next week.